Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams, welcome to Drugstore Week. This is a full face makeup look with nothing but Kiko Milano. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This video is going to be an overview where I just do a get ready with me with all of my favorite Kiko products as well as some products I've never tried before. I usually do these kind of videos whenever I can do like a full face makeup look with new Kiko products. But as I was going through what they had available on the website, I just came to realize that I've tried so much from this brand by now that there weren't a whole lot of new products that I had never tried before. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus it on my core favorites, things I love that I've recommended so many times before. And then I'll just rope in some of the new bits that I hadn't seen before or that I've never tried before myself. I have loads of other content with Kiko Milano up on the channel, so make sure to link you to any of those videos down below that seem to be relevant for this video, as well as some reviews for the products I'm actually showing you today that I did already review in the past. And there will be a shopping link with all of my favorite Kiko products available in the description box as well. If you use that link to shop any of the products, then please be mindful because I could make a small commission if you do choose to shop through them. So first things first, there are a few things I don't have from the brand. I don't have a face primer. I don't have an eye primer to use. I'll talk about that in a second. I don't have brow products and I don't have mascara. Everything else I pretty much have here. So while I do my primer, let me tell you a little bit more about the brand, my experience with them, and why I love them so much. So because I want to keep it drugstore, I'm going to go in with my Catrice Aqua Splash Grip Primer that is currently just in my Shop My Stash. Kiko Milano and me, we have a history, and we have a very joyful history because Kiko is one of those brands that when I discovered them, I think I discovered them about a decade ago, and I really got into them after a trip to Rome in 2017, because that's when I really found like a Kiko store that I could go into. At the time, I didn't really have regular access to Kiko Milano because I wasn't living in a city where they had a store, and so it was a little bit more difficult for me to find. And when I first started trying them, I really thought that they were perhaps a little bit more expensive. Like they're around that Maybelline, L'Oreal, Max Factor kind of price point. Especially here in Europe, makeup is just not cheap. And so what a lot of people have been complaining about makeup being very expensive, I felt that way about Kiko for some time. That was until I realized that Kiko Milano is made in Italy. It's an Italian makeup brand. And guess where all the high-end makeup is made very often? A lot of luxury makeup brands. Pat McGrath, Lisa Eldridge, Laura Mercier, Hourglass. They're all made in Italy. And so as I started trying more and more makeup and I started doing comparisons, I found out that Kiko is the brand with all the dupes for your so many more expensive brands. So for me, it was a revelation. I'll talk about some of those dupes that I have found as we're going along. I have shorts with a lot of dupes on as well, but I will be showcasing some of them as well in a video that goes up later this week because I want to do a full face makeup look with some of my favorite drugstore dupes as well. And what I love about Kiko Milano is that they don't flaunt the dupes. It's not like e.l.f. You know, it's not like super obvious that it's a dupe. Like you need to do the work and dig through the line to find them. And I feel I've done that work for you. So I hope this video is going to be as informative as possible. So let's get to my first Kiko product. And as I said, because I already primed my lids with the NYX HD Definition eyeshadow primer, that's in my Shop My Stash, because I just used up this guy. And this is the Kiko Neutral Eye Base. This is great. This is my favorite eye primer together with the Milani one. You'll see it again later later this week in another video. It will pop up again because I love it so much. And the good thing about this product is it is a sheer primer that really makes eyeshadow stick to your face. So that's one of the reasons why I love this. But because this is unopened and it took me nearly 2 years to use up, I didn't put it on my face today because I'm afraid if I open it for real, like I open up the tube, that it's going to expire before I can use it up. And that would be a bit of a shame because I've only just purchased it. I wanted to be able to show you a full one in this video. That's why I got it, to have it in my Shop My Stash. But any makeup look I've done in the past year on camera, that was my eyeshadow primer. Just go to an older video where I did a full face makeup look and you will see that product going on. It makes your eyeshadow last all day, and it is, at least to me over here in Europe, this product is more affordable to purchase than the Milani eyeshadow primer. That is my other favorite. So that brings me to foundation, and here is the Kiko Milano Instamoisture foundation. They have two versions of this. They have the regular version and this one with the silver cap, which is the glow version. I had both of those at some point. I decluttered the regular version of the glow version because this is a bit lighter weight and dewier, but it's like a medium coverage foundation that has a little bit more of a hydrating factor to it, so I really like it for that. I have mine in 1R, which is also the lightest shade. So for really, really fair skin tones, Kiko can be really difficult, and that's one of my, that was one of the reasons when I first got into the brand, I really struggled finding products that worked for me, because Kiko is really good at doing stunning limited editions, but since it's an Italian brand, I do feel they tend to cater more so towards, let's call it, Mediterranean skin tones, which isn't me. I'm pale, we can all see it. So I can sometimes struggle finding good products in the Kiko line, and until I started trying things from their regular range, that's when I started finding the gems. So this is what that Instamoisture foundation looks like. It's a really good match for me. Love it for that reason. It is a little bit thicker than what I normally go for, but a little goes a long way with this. I tend to like lightweight things. I just really tend to like lightweight things, and this, when you shear it out with a brush, it works wonders. So I just go in with like half a pump, maybe less even, because I really don't use a lot of makeup when I do my foundation. As you can see with this foundation, a little goes a very long way. It sits really nicely on the skin. It has a slight sheen to it, but not like, are you sparkly? Are you a disco ball? It doesn't have that. But because it is more medium coverage, it will cover your skin really nicely. I've had this one for about a year and I still love mine to pieces. It is more on the yellow side. That is something you need to realize when you start buying Kiko. A lot of the undertones in their products lean more towards the yellow tones rather than the pinky tones, even though this shade is called Rose. It's okay for me, but I'm more neutral leaning, so that's why I can get away with these slightly more yellowy things, but I know that if you're super duper pink, Kiko may not be the place for you to be finding base products you could find. I also really enjoy their concealer. This is the Skin Tone Concealer. This is my second or third one that I've had. It is really, really small. It comes with very little product. That's why I use it up really quickly, but it is really good. It used to come with a applicator that allowed you to roll on the product. They've changed that with the newer types, but I find that that really was a gimmick and it wasn't all that, like it wasn't really adding to the experience of the product. So I do really enjoy what this does. It lasts a long time, and because it's so small, it works great in a makeup bag. So that is the concealer on. I have mine in shade 2, which is the lightest skin tone shade. Shade 1 is a green toned concealer, which makes for a great corrector in case you were looking for that. And for powder, I am going to be opening this up because powders, I feel, are okay if you like they're okay for a longer time than a liquid like the primer is. But just so I can show it to you in this video, I have the Radiant Fusion powder here. This is one of my favorite face powders of all time. It is a dupe for the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffuse Light, in case anybody was curious. This is the lightest shade they do. This is shade 1. It has that slight yellow tone to it, and with powders, I usually don't mind it because I feel it cancels out any redness I might have. I never use this all over the face though. I only use it with a very small brush. This is the BK Beauty 112 brush, in case anyone wants to know. And I just really use it where I have some redness and where I tend to get a little bit oily throughout the day. I've got pretty dry skin, so that's why most powders don't work for me. I don't need a lot of powder either. I just want it to make my makeup look a little bit more seamless. If I don't use powder, I feel that because I teach and I move my face around all day as I'm working, I tend to get a little bit more creasing if I don't set it with powder. So a very light layer is all we're going for here. Just a light dusting to even things out, and that yellow undertone, like I said, helps with the redness. And this is actually my second one of these. I used one up of the Hourglass powders in the past. Then I found this, and then I just knew I will never have to repurchase the Hourglass powder because I just like this one so much. I didn't buy it straight away because there were other powders in my collection that I wanted to try. So it's gonna take a while for you to see this product again on my channel. But I was like, for the sake of the video, I can have an old favorite that I know is going to take me a while to get to because I'm trying to use up another powder before I move on to anything else. But yeah, I love this powder on my face. It adds, like, it's very much like the Hourglass, where it's more of a finishing powder than a setting powder, I find. I did a quick brow with the items from my Shop My Stash, and that means we can move on to cheeks. And if you know anything about me, then you know I love anything that comes in this silver packaging from the cheek range. Anything that says Fusion or Unlimited blush, whatever, it just works really well for me. I've selected 2 bronzers actually to go into because I was like, you know what, I can do a bit of cream and then top it with the powder bronzer just to show you as many of my favorites as possible. I know they also they've come out with highlighters and blushes in these sticks as well. I know they do them, but when I had a look at the shades online, it seemed so warm toned and I was like, oh, I don't think I'll get the use out of that. I have other liquid and liquid and cream blushes and highlighters that I just like so much more. It was very champagne and gold heavy in the highlighter department. All the blushes were really, really orangey. So that's why I only have this contour stick to show you. And I use this as bronzer. It is the Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour in shade 200. So that's going to go on first. And then I'm going to go over it with the Flawless Fusion powder bronzer in shade 1. And I don't know if they still do this. I've seen it in store, but online, this lightest shade is always out of stock when I try to link it. So I don't know if you can still get it, but this is one of my favorite powder bronzers because it's so light. And that's why I think if I put it on now, it's actually going to be a touch too light for me. Okay, I think this is a little bit better. I still had my camera set because it was a bit of a gloomy day the other day when I was filming. So I was like, when I started filming, I was like, it looks okay. And I was like, why doesn't it go down? And I think this is a little bit better. This product is going to be a touch too light for me right now. I tend to use this mainly in like January, February, March time. That's when that product works really well for me because that's when I'm at my palest. So that's why I thought combining the 2 bronzers might work. So let me put this on. So I just apply it to the back of my hand and pick it up with the Spectrum BO1 brush. And then I dot it on, because else it looks a little weird. So here is what that cream bronzer looks like. As I said, it is a contour. It works really well for me as bronzer because it has that slight cooler undertone, but on me it still looks pretty warm toned. So I think it's going to be a contour for people with warm skin tones, but for me, it definitely isn't. And I'm just applying my bronzer with a duo fiber brush. That's what I usually do, else I get way too much product. But as you can see, this is a very light bronzer and it barely added any color to my face. So in a few months' time, it will be perfect. Right now, it would be a bit too light for me. So I have several Kiko highlighters in my collection and I like all 3 of them. The one that's currently in my Shop My Stash that I'm testing out is this guy. This is the Glitter Baked Face Highlighter. It comes in 1 shade and as you can see, it's very sparkly and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about that and I was afraid that it might be overspray. It doesn't seem to be the case. I've used it several times now and it seems to still work and look sparkly. But where it looks super sparkly in the pan, I don't feel I get glitter particles on my face. I feel it's like a powder version of the Fenty Beauty Diamond Bomb highlighter. If you like the look of that, I think you'd like this as well. But since that's only now in my Shop My Stash, and I wanted to make this a favorites video, I figured I should go in with the Glow Fusion highlighter from Kiko. This is one of the oldest Kiko products in my collection. I've hit a mini prick of pan in it. Very proud of that. And I just really love this. I showed it to you in my favorites video that I did the other day, and I have to show it to you in this video. It is in shade 1. Yes, shade 1. And it's this really pretty light gold shade that adds sheen to the face, but it's never sparkly. It doesn't sit weirdly on the skin. And this is so similar in formula to the Hourglass, what were they called? Ambient strobe lighting powders. Their highlighter version, like the powder highlighters that Hourglass does. It's very much like that. So this is really, really pretty. It goes with any blush you put it with. It just looks so, so pretty. And on, like in real life, it looks like I've got barely anything on my skin, but on camera, I feel, especially with the lights, you can really see when the light hits my skin, you get this very nice lit from within sort of highlight. So if you don't like super intense highlighters, then this is the one from Kiko that I would recommend. They also do an unlimited highlighter, which is in like some other shades that I have that's a bit more intense, and then the glittery one is even more intense. So they definitely have different highlighters for different tastes. And then for blush, I have two options. I have a Shade Fusion Trio blush that I got at the same time as the highlighter, as well as the unlimited blush. Both of them are in a mauve tone. But this is in shade 10. This is the unlimited blush. This one you can still buy. This is warm mauve, and they still do this shade, 05 mauve, in the unlimited formula as well. But I didn't want to buy this exact same blush twice. So when I wanted to see if the updated unlimited blushes were as good as the Shade Fusion, I decided to go with a slightly different shade. I think, for the sake of the video, because I already know what eye look I want to do, I'm going to have to go with the cooler toned one and lighter one, which is that one, because the eye look is going to be pretty intense. This one is essentially decluttered, not because I don't like it. It's the exact same formula as the one that I've loved for years. The only reason I decluttered it is because it's too similar to other things I already have, even compared to this blush. It's just a more warmer toned blush than this one is. And what they stopped doing is the trio, so they no longer do the three lines, but the shades I feel in the new line are the same compared to the old line. So if you get number 5 from the current blush line, you get something that's closest to this. So you can still pick up this product. It will just look slightly differently in terms of pan, not on the face. And this has been one of my favorite blushes for years. Again, like I said, I bought it together with the highlighter. I bought it on the same trip, that Rome trip I mentioned at the start. I still use it all the time. It looks amazing on me. And by the way, if you guys were hearing anything, I don't know whether my microphone will pick up on it, but there's construction work going on in the neighborhood. So if you can hear any sort of weird blowtorch sort of noises, that's why. And then we move on to the eye area. I'm going to do my lids with a host of different Kiko products that I have. I've said this many times in the past for people who might be new here. It may be news, but I don't really rate the Kiko eyeshadow palettes all that highly. I tend to prefer their single things and their like pencils and stuff a lot more than I do their palettes. So there will not be a palette in today's video. Instead, I'm going to focus the entire look on this brand new product that they seem to be doing. I had never seen this before, but they've come out with chrome versions of their water shadows. So I'll give this a swatch because it's really pretty. So this is the Kiko Milano Water Eyeshadow Chrome Tech in shade 3. And when I spotted this, I was like, that looks stunning. It is sheer though. Like it doesn't have a lot of base pigment to it, but I was like, I can make that work because I have plenty of Kiko products that I can layer under this to make it even shinier. It's like a blue-purple duochrome sort of thing with a little bit of a sparkle to it. It looks so, so pretty. And one of the products that I love from Kiko are their eyeshadow sticks. I've got several. I've got them in like neutral shades, but whenever I see colors in this range that I like, I pick them up. So I was like, maybe I can do like some taupey things, but I also have some more of the water shadows in like taupes and mauve tones that I think I can use together with this. And then lay down one of the dark blue, possibly like this darkest blue. I think that's the most matte one and the darkest one. So if I put this darker navy down on the lid and then put this one on top, I figured that could be a good look. And something that Kiko also does in this eyeshadow stick range is something similar to the Sigma eyeshadow priming stick. So if you're familiar with Sigma makeup, they do an eyeshadow primer in stick form like this, and Kiko does one too. This is in shade 9, and it's like a pinky nude, but it's matte. So if you struggle finding a good eyeshadow primer, these set themselves, so you don't need another eyeshadow primer underneath it if you don't want to. These do work for me and stay all day without any primers underneath it. Just for longevity, I prefer to always use something like the NYX one that I used in this video underneath it, because I do have a bit of a hood and deep set eyes, so I'd rather be safe than sorry. You know what I mean? But this is really, really pretty and great as a base. And then what I also want to bring into the look are some of these eyeliners. I know I want to put in these two because these are new to me. I had never seen these shades before. I already owned these 4. These are the Intense Color Long Lasting eyeliners, and I already had them in the dark green, the teal, the purple, and the brown. These are really nice. They rival the Victoria Beckham ones that I love so much. As I already mentioned, Kiko does a lot of dupes. A lot of really good lip liners and pencils that they do are so similar to high-end brands I've also tried, and I feel these are the closest I've tried to what the Victoria Beckham eyeliners do. And then I also have one of their retractable ones. This is the Unlimited Precision in shade 14, which is a really nice taupey thing. So I thought this would be nice along the top lash line, perhaps, to deepen things up a little bit. And then I have that Intense Color one in shade 18. And this was new to me. It's like a silvery, taupey, really light pale pink, which I thought could be stunning in the inner corner. So that's how I want to use that. So it's going to be liners with some of the older water shadows I have. And this is going to be the star of the show. Let me whip something together. Is one makeup look almost done. We still have lips to go, but I wanted to quickly show you what it is that I actually used on my eyes. I kicked things off with the water shadow in 06. This is a really nice taupey shade. And one thing that you should know about the water shadows is that they can be used wet or dry. That's why they're called water shadows. So if you want to get more intensity out of them, you can very easily. I like to use them dry, mainly because I like that slightly sparkly look that these have. So this is the thing that's in the crease and on the lower lash line. And then, as I mentioned, I would deepen things up a little bit with some of these eye pencils that they do. So I use the eye pencil in 39, which is this darker taupe number. And then, of course, I had to go in with shade 17, which is that darker navy shade. And this is, I think, one of the older ones in my collection because it was a little bit tuggy. It wasn't as smooth as the other eyeliners I was working with, but with the other eyeshadow on top of it, you can barely tell. And I knew that if I were to give this eyeshadow a base to play off of, that it would work. So the star of the show is definitely this really nice purpley blue number. I don't think you can see on the camera what the shift is like, because it is a pretty subtle shift. But this is really one of those things that as you turn your head throughout the day, it's going to look really dimensional and sparkly. It did feel a little bit gritty as I was applying it with my finger, so it does have actual glitter particles in it. So if you're a contact lens wearer, or if you struggle with keeping shimmers on your lids, that particular shade may not be the best one. For me, I never really struggled with that. I had no fallout with this at all. For the inner corner, I used the eyeliner in number 18, that really nice silvery one, and I topped it with one of the older water shadows. This is 227. This is no longer available, but it's a really pretty, soft, taupey, silvery leaning shade, and I sort of put it all over the inner corner. And because of the eyeliner sitting underneath it, you get a little bit more sparkle right in the inner corner and really brightens up that area. And then everything around it is just a little bit more smooth and vibrant looking. And then I deepen things up on the top lash line with shade 14, which is that new retractable liner. And then on the lower lash line, I went in with this matte taupe shade. This is shade 15 from the eyeshadow sticks. And I used the other taupe eyeshadow again. So that's the look in a nutshell. Let's move on to lips. And for lips, I have some new things as well. I really discovered the creamy color lip liners this year. These are exactly the same as Lisa Eldridge and Pat McGrath. Exactly the same. If you're looking for a dupe, if you're looking for a formula dupe, these work really well, and this comes in heaps of color. So I'm just going to do a nice combination of one of these lip liners and one of these lipsticks. These are the Powder Power lipsticks. They come in very similar packaging to the Velvet Passion, but the only difference is that the Powder Power has the silver base, whereas the Velvet Passion have the gold base. That's how you can tell them apart. I don't know if they still do the Velvet Passions. I was able to pick up a new shade just fine for this video, but I picked up 3 shades. Can I read the numbers? This is shade 24, because we all know I like trying out mauve lip colors, and Kiko does some of the best ones. It seems to be the way these are described on the website and the way these swatch, they remind me a lot of the MAC Power Kiss lipsticks. And I have that mauve lip liner. So I actually think, because this is quite a bold eye look, I want to go for that combination in a second. So the mauve toned lip liner and the mauve toned lipstick. I picked up a red. This is shade 25. Because I always like trying nudes and reds to really get a feel for a lipstick range. And the final one I have for you is shade 26. I'm really into dark lipsticks at the minute, so I'm looking up all the dark lipsticks that I can possibly find. So I wanted to try this as well. I haven't even put these on my lips yet. They just came in. So for the sake of the video, I will be putting on one of them so I can show it for you, but I will be testing these out on the download. And just let me know, maybe sometime in January I can do a video where I update you on Kiko Milano lipsticks, because I think I did a video 2 years ago where I showcase at least one of every single formula. And maybe I can do that again, because they've come out with some new formulas, and I would be interested to hear from you guys. Is that something you'd like me to do? Do you want an update on all of the different Kiko Milano lipstick offerings there are? Then let me know, because I can put something together like that, I think. Lip liner first. This is shade 23. And look at how pretty that is. I haven't put this one on yet. This is one of the newer ones. I bought 2 initially just to test out the formula, realized how good these were, and I was like, this can be a really nice neutral for me, and it looks really cool toned. So I have high hopes for this. This is exactly my lip color. If you can't tell on a camera whether there's anything on my lips, that's because this is exactly my lip color. This is absolute perfection. This lip liner is exactly the color I wanted it to have. It is light, it's pinky, it's slightly purpley. It's a really good mauve toned lip liner. And then we're gonna try this mauve toned lipstick. Like I said, shade 24 from the Powder Kiss range. Did I call it Powder Kiss? It's Powder Power. And indeed, it feels like a MAC Powder Kiss lipsticks. That's why I called it Powder Kiss. You guys, Kiko does it again. They again come in with some of the best mauve toned lipsticks I've ever tried. This is such a pretty shade. We've got some sun coming in, but this is such a pretty shade on me. Not too peachy. It's perfectly cool toned. And it's very similar to the MAC Powder Kiss lipstick formula. So this is not the same formula as the Velvet Passion, so I really hope they didn't discontinue that, because this feels thinner on the lips. But this is really pretty. I'm very happy with that lip look. So those are all of the products I wanted to share with you in this video today. Some of my long-standing favorite Kiko products, as well as some newer bits. Very excited for this new lip combo. Also excited for this eye look. I think it looks stunning. I hope you feel that way too. Let me know in a comment down below what your favorite Kiko product is. They are definitely one of my favorite brands, and we are still in the midst of drugstore week, so stay tuned for more drugstore related content that will be going live. But of course, I make 4 videos a week on this channel anyway, so I hope you'd like to stay tuned for more, because I do come on here regularly to talk about my favorites, to talk about things I love. That's what this channel is all about. So stay tuned for more, and then I hope to see you in my next one. Have a great day. Bye-bye.